If you're a student or someone early on in their career, listen up closely because we're going to be talking about 5 skills that you have to master or work on going into 2023. So let's kick it off with number 1.
So the first skill you must master or kind of get to grips with is design. And I'm not talking about super high-tech designing. It's the basic design that allows you to create a logo, that allows you to create a post, kind of convey your thoughts, your opinions or experiences. And the best place that I want to recommend earlier on is a platform called Canva. It's a free design platform where it's templates, you drag and drop, you have lots of text you can change, existing templates you can tweak, and it is super easy to use. It's free. A lot of professional businesses use it for all their graphic and design needs. Why don't you kind of share your experiences with Canva, because you use it a lot more than me.
Yeah. So let's talk first about why design is important, first of all, going forward. So design is important in any field you go into, because whether you're in the corporate sector, you're delivering presentations to clients, you're talking to massive groups of people, you need to have good aesthetics, all right? Even if you're a healthcare professional, right, you're often designing also presentations, M&M meetings, audits, designs. Even if you're an academic writer, you need to be able to design a nice, whatever content you're producing, right? Be it a thesis, presentation, a talk that you're giving. Aesthetics is important. And obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a founder, if you're a business, you need to understand design, because design is important in how you do a pitch deck, how you do a presentation, how you do a pitch, and then as well as how you run the marketing, the social media. So design is so important. So you need to understand design as well. So for example, understanding design concepts, how you position, how you layer, white space, where the eyes go when you look at a design. All of those things are important. Now, diving into design, you don't have to design straight on Adobe Photoshop, which is what probably most people consider is the elite level of design, right? Adobe, the suite of it. So Photoshop, Fireworks, all of that jazz. But if you want to start at a basic level of designing, the best thing you can do is start off with, as you said, Canva. Canva makes it easy. Why does it make it easy? Because they've got inspiration put on for you already on their platform. So if you're struggling for, okay, how am I going to design this? They've got like thousands and thousands of templates which you can look at and go, this looks nice because of X, Y, and Z reason. I can edit so and so. I can make it look nice. I can deliver this. That's the first thing. So it's really nicely editable as well. And the templates are there for you. So you get to dip your toes into it. But then a level up, which is probably Figma. Talk to us a little bit about Figma, because you've used Figma. What does Figma allow that Canva doesn't allow?
So Canva is an amazing place to start this design journey, learning about design elements, how to use different fonts, how to use different colors, how to have different templates. And what that means is you're still limited by certain things. You can't get to the peak of your creativity, right? Because what would happen and what you will notice is once you use Canva, it kind of unlocks this creative side of your brain and you want to experiment and do more things. And Canva is very good up until a certain point. And this is where Figma comes in. With Figma, you can kind of stretch the ability to do what you want, how you want, right? So there might be particular fonts that you can't use on Canva, or there might be certain designs you want to create, but it's very difficult to create on Canva because it's a lot of using elements and pre-made things, whereas Canva you can build and design from scratch. You can tweak the color, the shadow.
You mean Figma.
Sorry, Figma, right? You can tweak the shadows, the colors, you can change the size of the border, you can increase the size, reduce the size, you can bring in lots of different elements. And then Canva allows you to kind of take that step further and design prototypes. You might want to design a health tech app or a product, and Canva lets you do all of that.
Figma
lets you do all of that. So I think Canva is a good place to start as a beginner. And once you kind of want to level up, once you want to do more with your skill set, then Figma is the place to go.
Yeah, so absolutely. Saying that, I would probably also say, though, invest a lot of time in learning Canva, because Canva is a company, in my eyes, that's going to be huge in the future. So obviously Adobe's bought Figma, right? And I can see Canva allowing everyone and anyone to design. I think that's their strapline, actually. So I think invest a lot of time into learning on Canva. It will allow you to really grasp design, and then you can take it to where you like. So yeah, design is so important in this day and age, it'll become more important going forwards. So absolutely, you have to work on design. So start designing. Let's talk about tip number 2. Okay, the next skill that we think you have to work on going forwards into 2023 to future-proof your career is the ability to write. Abdul, let's break down writing. What do we mean by writing?
So writing is a skill that is perfectly coupled to design. Writing allows you to communicate with the world. It allows you to express your thoughts, your ideas, your opinions, your experiences. It's the most common form or the most common modality of communication. And there's writing which anyone can write. And then there's a level of writing where you can invoke emotion. You can allow people to do certain actions, certain calls to action, elicit certain behaviors. And to be able to do that succinctly in a concise way is not only important for your studies, for your career, but writing extends to academic research, publishing in journals, presenting at conferences. You know, when you're writing your CV, your portfolio, your cover letters, writing is one of the most important skills that we neglect, and we don't realize how important it is until we see a good piece of work or writing.
Absolutely. So I think you've summarized it quite well. Writing extends every single domain. It's the most common way of communicating. So how can you not invest time into writing? I think one important thing of writing is also writing to speak to everyone, right? I think so. The good thing is that the education system often covers being able to write academically, being able to write for a job application, a CV, but I don't think we're taught how to write for people, right? I think social media allows us the avenues to do that, and different companies like Peerr as well, right? We allow people to connect with people, right? But no one's teaching you how to do that bit of writing. Obviously in the business world, we're calling that copyright, right? Being able to write in a way that talks to a person, talks to the user, connects with them and invokes action, like you said. But what is exactly, let's talk a little bit about copywriting, because it's a skill that we think people should be able to do. What is it?
So copywriting this is more for like budding entrepreneurs, people that want to enter that world. And a lot of founders say one of the most important things they want to learn or wish to have the skill set in is in copyright. Copyright in essence is being able to use text, writing to get someone to do something you want them to do. So it may be you want someone to download an app and install it. You might want them to download or use your product and become a paid user. It's allowing or eliciting certain behaviors or calls to action. And you need to be very skilled to do it. Right? You know, copyright is a skill that can be learned, that can be mastered, but it's something you need to work on. And it only gets better as you start churning out more and more content. But it is highly valuable, and I think we'll come to talk about it. It is a very easy way for people to also look about earning money. You know, it's highly sought after.
Exactly. So importantly, just to now summarize on this point, right? Writing is important because yes, for the academic side, publishing research journals, applying for jobs, CV, cover letter, etc. But then you have to remember, in the job, whichever company you work for, you will have to work with a user base. That will require some form of copywriting, what you're describing right now. So being able to talk to a normal person and invoke action. So copywriting is something I think everyone should be learning. We're learning that, we're still on that journey, and we'll talk a little bit later on this point about how it's a source of another source of income that you can make as a student. You don't have to go running around, you don't have to work retail jobs. You can actually also consider copywriting as a way to make money. But before we go into that, we've got tip number 3, which is learning. This is a hard one because people are going to say, how do we exactly learn this? But soft skills and networking. First of all, what even is soft skills?
So soft skills are generally referred to as kind of the communication, the way you speak to people, the way you engage with people, your body language. It's kind of it's a combination of the non-verbal plus communication skills to kind of grow, develop, to communicate with people, to get what you want, and to develop. And it's, you know, stuff like empathy, communicating in a nice manner. It's all the stuff that lets you grow as an individual. It empowers other people as well as yourself.
Yeah. I think soft skills is a bit scary because it often involves another person.
Yeah.
Right. So as you said, talking to someone, it involves your body language, the words that you're using, all of the things. It involves someone else. So it's a very scary thing for people. But I think we need to reframe it. I think people need to understand, just like we were all crap at once algebra, we're going to be crap at it at first. I was crap at networking. I was crap at attending events. I was crap at meeting people. And I'd say I'm a half decent at least, I'd say now. I don't know how great I am. But I think it's important that we reframe it as we're going to be crap at it at first. We're going to learn and work on it to get to that stage of where we're a great public speaker, where we're great at meeting people who we've never met before, where we can communicate and meet up people through, I don't know, online messaging and stuff for business purposes or whatever. And then our body language, working on our body language. Naturally, I was an introverted. We had our shoulders dipped in. We wanted to just sit in a corner. And then you learn and you work on it. So you're crap at first, but you have to face the fact we're crap at everything first. Everything requires a degree of learning and working on that craft. Were you always great at soft skills and networking?
Definitely not. I think
you were more extroverted than me, though.
Maybe more extroverted. I was more open to kind of going out, enjoyed talking to people, enjoyed being in a social environment. But what I will say is what I used to think of networking before was very different to what real networking actually means and is.
What does networking mean?
So networking is essentially connecting with people, reaching out to people, or putting yourself in positions where you learn from others, you open yourself up to opportunities, experiences where people know more about yourself, who you are, what your ethos is, what your mission and value is. And the best way is to describe it in terms of, let's say, someone that's looking for a job, right? Yeah. One of the best and easiest way to get a new job is through your network. And how do you network? How do you get good at networking, right? And this is stuff, it's all to do with connecting people, right? So you need to physically or digitally connect with people. This might be on LinkedIn, which is probably the best place for careers, is you engage with people that may be working in a company that you want to work at, engaging with their tweets, their comments, their posts, speaking to them, learning more from them about the industry you want to get into, putting yourself in environments where people know, okay, you might be an individual looking for a job, or you have an interest in X, Y, and Z, going to networking events. You are kind of putting yourself out there. You're basically building this contact list, this contact book, that whenever you need something, you know someone that will be able to help you with that situation, and vice versa. When someone needs help with something, you have put yourself out there, or you've networked enough for them to know, hey, you know what, an example is, let's say we want to launch a new startup, we need help with design. You've networked enough where I'm like, hey, do you know what, I'm going to shout Ams to help me with the design stuff because he's really good at Canva and Figma.
Yeah. Right? Yeah, exactly. So, no, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think that it's a bit like personal branding. So if you're out there physically and people know about you and you need something, maybe they can lend a hand. And it's always easier to lend a hand to someone you already know, right? So if you, for example, ask me, you say, your cousin needs some help, right? So I'm a part of your cousin's network because your cousin can come up to you and say, Ams knows this. Can you ask him for this? I'm more likely, and it's easier for me to help him. I already know him. So yeah, it's easier to do that. It's easier to be thought of. So if there's a job post going, sometimes you can think, oh, I know him. He's really good at copywriting. Why don't I give him a buzz and see if he's looking for a job, right? So networking is really important. Networking is hard though. What tips have you got for networking?
So I think with networking, start slowly. You don't need to attend every single event. You don't need to engage with every community or every post you see on LinkedIn and start following every single person, right? Start finding, and I think something that's even more better than networking is joining communities. So I think start by putting yourself out there. Start by engaging with the people you resonate with most, people that are in the same space you're interested in or have a passion for. Engage with their comments, their tweets. Maybe go to a few networking events that are specific to the industry of your interest or the passions. You don't need to go to every single networking event because you will not have a passion, or you may stick out like a sore thumb because you don't know anything about that world, right? And it's doing it nice and slowly and building it up. And networking is something that I've noticed is it pays dividends over a very long period of time. You can't network and have this big community or this big network or this group of people overnight. It's something that you grow. These relationships need fostering, and you need to kind of touch in with people every so often.
Yeah. I think, so one tip I have is you can't look at networking as a transactional relationship. So you can't be like, I'm going to go be friends with Abdul because I know he knows him or he will help me do this. Because the moment you do that, it's a very insincere relationship that's built there. It has to be more like, you know what, Abdul's working in that sphere. He's working in the content creation sphere. He's working in the startup sphere. It'd be nice to just know him, see what he's doing. Sometimes even ask him, how's things? And offer value to the person. That's always a great way to network. So give someone else value to receive value in the future, right? So I think you have to have a sincere approach to this. It can't be a transactional thing. All right, I'm going to give this person this and they will have to then give me this because I'm going to ask for that in return. So I think, so for tips on networking, I guess, try and put yourself out there, reach out for social media, engage with their content. That doesn't mean just putting fire emojis, all right? And then attend a few events here and there, get to know people. Use their platforms. If they're startup founders, use their platforms, give them feedback, let them know what's good, what's not good, what could they improve. There you have it. I think that covers networking quite well. Anything else to add on that?
No, I think that's perfectly summarized.
All right, going into 2023. Now, this is so important. I think it's really important for a lot of people because they're reaching out with messaging us and every other company and people out there. And that's, how can we earn another source of income? I think income is important, especially with the living crisis, especially with the cost of things. We've all got rent to pay, a mortgage to pay or something like that. We've got food to put on the table. So we need to have an income source. 2023 in the digital era, right? There's no excuse for you not to have a digital source of income now, okay? Abdul, let's go into this. Why do you think it's A, important, and B, what are some sources that are so easy to tap into nowadays?
So like I said, I think it's so important to start learning how to not only diversify your career, but diversify your income streams, right? Let's be honest, money is important. Money is something that we need every day in our lives for rent, bills, and so on and so forth. And I think it will be silly to be reliant on one source of income because we know after the COVID pandemic, anything can happen, right? Yeah. And it's always been in a position where you have multiple ways to make money to survive, essentially, right?
Look at the situation now in the tech world, right? The layoffs that are happening and the layoffs that are coming, right? But if you're digitally out there, right, I think you're almost invincible, right? Because someone out there will need your skill, right? As long as you're contactable. But yeah, you're right. It's you can't predict the future. Look at the layoffs, Twitter, Facebook. I hear WeWork and some more layoffs are coming in a few other companies. But yeah.
So I think the best thing you can do as a student, as someone young and early on in your profession, is equipping yourself with the skills to earn income outside of your 9-to-5 day job, right? And how do you earn money? In essence, do you earn money by giving people value or by helping them with a problem or doing something for them? And they're willing to give you some sort of money or some sort of compensation in return. So the easiest way to do that is basically learn a skill. And some of the most popular skills are the ones we've already discussed. Learn how to design, learn how to do copyright, learn how to kind of do presentations, learn how to help someone, develop a code, a website, right? Or if you want to do something that's even easier, I think one of the best ways to earn money online is content creation. It is so easy to do and there are so many platforms. So cheeky plug, Peerr, right? If you are a healthcare professional and you want to earn money by sharing content, which may be your experiences, your insights, your tips and tricks, Peerr is a platform that allows you to earn money from sharing that content, right? But you don't need to go to Peerr alone, right? You can go to places like YouTube. You can churn out YouTube videos and over time you'll get ad revenue. You can have your own blog. You can grow a profile, social media following online and people will sponsor you, right? So there's many ways to earn money online and it's important we have the skill set to earn money. And the easiest way I recommend is content creation. And if you're a healthcare professional particularly, or you're in the career space, Peerr is an amazing place where you can earn money straight away.
So I personally think, right, the easiest commodity, the easiest asset you have that you can monetize is your knowledge, experience, and insight. We said it before, and this is why we built Peerr, basically. But think about it, right? As you go through the years of studying, the years of work, right, you would have built that knowledge base, insight, and experience. That is gold for the people behind. So, for example, right now, as startup founders, the people in front of us, right, it's gold for them to tell us, do your pitch deck like this, talk to this investor, and talk to them like this, right? It's gold. So for you to share that knowledge, it's an easy stream of income to build. And let's be honest, like if you start that content creation journey, it will utilize your design skills. It will then have to utilize your copywriting skills. You start to learn a lot just by building that stream. And it's a stream that grows, right? Because your experience, insight, and experience, insight, and knowledge base will only increase with the years to come. So it's a stream that's also protected. Check it out, www.peerr.io. It's a place for you to start your journey. But yeah, if you're not interested in Peerr, YouTube. You've got your social medias, Instagram, TikTok, all of that jazz. And again, it leverages all the other skills that I just listed. So check them all out and just start. Just dive in and start. Everything that you do at first, you'll be crap at. That's the honest truth. This podcast, when we started out, was like horrendous lighting. I think our lighting's a little bit better now, but it was horrendous. And you only get better with time. Anything else to add to the income?
I think the other thing I forgot to mention, easy way is to sell digital products. And there's so many platforms that do it. Gumroad, Etsy, Shopify. There are loads of places where you can sell PDF books, which you can design on Canva, leveraging your copywriting skills, and you can sell it. And you can sell it for £1, you can sell it for 10, you can sell it for 15, 20. Like, it's endless. But like you said, the key thing in accessing or unlocking the additional stream of income is just getting started and finding the right platform for you.
Exactly. Yeah, finding the right place. I think that's important. All right. So moving on now, the last tip that we want to talk about is social media. So social media is a thing that's evolving constantly, and we have to keep up with it. But it's a powerful tool. You can't neglect something that has billions and billions of people active on it every single day across the board. So whether it's Snapchat, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp is technically a social media actually. So yeah, you cannot neglect it and say, no, I don't need it. What about it? What about that? Why do people need to work on that?
So like it or not, social media has become part of our daily lives. It's part of daily business as well. Social media, like you said, has evolved and it continues to evolve on a day-to-day basis. We're obviously seeing the rise of TikTok and the billions of active users on a monthly basis. And I think the way to see social media is to see it as a tool. It's a tool that can be leveraged for success. It can be leveraged for you to excel in your career, your studies, whatever it may be. And it's taking the good with the bad and harnessing it. So from a career point of view, kind of excelling in your career, social media is an excellent place to network. It's an excellent place to put yourself out there. It's a place where, and we always say, increase the exposure to opportunities coming your way. It's a place where you can show your work. And I think soon enough, like we said, and I've done a video on it, is people will be landing jobs, and it already happens through social media, through tweets they've done, through things they've shared.
Yeah. So I've read this interesting article. Social media is now more of a broadcasting tool. What do you think about that phrase that's just been there? So it's no longer a place where it's not friendship circles necessarily now. It's a place where you put your content out there and it reaches people that you've never... What do you think about that?
I think you're right. I think initially when social media started, or some of the earlier platforms, it was like Snapchat and stuff like that, where you're sharing moments and things with your friends and your family, and it grows. And then I think once people realize that the reach and power of social media, it kind of has flipped to this broadcasting thing where it's more about, showcasing your talent, showcasing your work, driving business, driving traffic. And it's probably the reason why I think that new platform called Be Real that came up, which then, so I feel like social media goes out too much, becomes this promotional platform, and then new platforms come where they make it intimate again for your friends and family. That then becomes a bit more of like a broadcasting thing.
What's more important, to have a social media that broadcasts you, or a platform that just allows you to communicate with your friends, would you say?
So I think it depends on how you want to do it and how you see it, right? For me, I have value, or the value I like to attribute to like family and friends is like real tangible meeting up, face to face dinners, going out doing things, rather than social media. And it's more communication. So WhatsApp and stuff is my tool to communicate. But then we're like a certain generation, whereas the new younger generation may communicate in a very different way, right? So I think it's kind of differentiating and outlining why you want to use social media. Is it for friends and family? Remember, you control. So the thing people fail to realize is you control social media. What does that mean? It means you can decide what type of content to put on social media. You can choose if it's a private or public profile. You can choose who you follow and who you don't follow.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you can use Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that for your friends and family, or you can use it as a broadcasting platform. It's up to you, really.
That's true. I completely agree with that. Although TikTok you
It's
can't.
very difficult, right?
You can't. You go
So-
too well.
So TikTok is very difficult, but there are platforms. It's like it's not impossible to use social media for. Yeah, of course.
Of course, you can lock it up. But I think if you're looking to use social media in a way to land jobs, to put your work out there, to get clients for your job, for your skills, your talents, for people to know about you, it's a broadcasting tool, and it's more important for you to curate that, to put it out there for people, right? And I think, as you said, it's for you to decide how you wanna interact with your tight knit community and your tight knit circle. So that's it, really. So anything else to add before?
No, I think, yeah, those are probably some of the most important skills that's worth mastering or developing to not future-proof your career for everything. And I think a lot of the skills you gain from doing these things convey into everything else.
Yeah, exactly. I've got nothing else to add to that. So there you have it. Learn how to design, learn how to write, soft skills and networking, learn how to build an income source, and finally, social media. Make sure you work on those. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.